Welcome back, boys.
What's up?
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Well, we're back to go over the first 4 or 5 rounds. I know they're kind of currently happening as we're recording right now, but we'll go over at least the first, couple of rounds and the big moments that have happened so far. But here with Cheech, all the way from Italy. No.
Nope.
Germany. Gibby down there in the bottom, coming from Italy. So welcome back, and go ahead and start off if you guys want. So what do you think the biggest thing that happened in the draft so far was?
Gibby?
So I'll go. I think the big thing and everyone's talking about is the Green Bay Packers and what are they thinking. Your offense really wasn't the issue, and you're more than a few plays, but a whole game away from just getting to the Super Bowl and having a chance and doing all that. Last year you built it up, your pass rushers to stop everything, and then this year you're like, we'll take a project quarterback. With Aaron Rodgers still on the deal for 4 more years, he can opt out in 2, but it's just a crazy thought. And then they take a running back that's just a bell horse that might have been good 30 years ago in the NFL, but he's not the running back of today's age. So to me, that's a big shocker to start off with.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, the quarterback was one thing. I mean, I guess Rodgers was, seemingly okay with it, but he's not. There's a lot of speculation, him going other places, but I don't think he's going anywhere. But that was definitely big. And then the running back too, man. I mean, you got Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones, who just had a crazy good season, and it's not like Jamal Williams is a bad back. So that was interesting, especially that early in the draft. Cheech,
Yeah,
big takeaway.
I definitely expected them to take a wide receiver, but I don't know. I guess they have a vision. I was kind of shocked by what was it, Miami's cornerback that they took, that Nigerian dude.
Yeah.
Noah, whatever his last name is, can't pronounce it. It's a lot of letters.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of shocked by that. I feel like there was much better and more known corners that were available, but I mean, the dude's clearly got athletic blood, both his parents being Olympians, but it's just wild. I was pretty shocked by that.
Right. Well, all right. Well, Gibby, do you have a couple questions you wanted to ask?
Okay, so let's start out with we always talk about what teams are happy with their draft and what players they got. You all got any players that might have been happy with the teams they went to, super stoked, like, hey, I'm going to fit in this offense, fit in this defense. I feel like I could be successful. And then maybe a player or two that might be pissed that he got sent to the situation he's going to.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he isn't a great fit, but I do think Jalen Hurts going to the Eagles was kind of like surprising, and I'm sure he had to be like, very much, excited to go that early. I mean, let alone the position and the opportunity with Carson Wentz and his injuries, but money wise, second round, right? So I mean, the difference between that and where he could have fallen was big. So I'm sure he's excited. But other than that, I mean, I don't really have anybody who stuck out to me. What about you, Cheech?
I think that Kinlaw should be pretty hyped to be going where he's going. Just being on that line with Nick Bosa and the energy that he brings, I think that Kinlaw knows that he's walking into a very good situation for him, and it's going to go well for him. I think also CeeDee Lamb is another one that offense right now that the Cowboys have, they've got some serious skill on that offense. So I think both those players should be real happy about where they're going and the opportunities that they're going to have.
Yeah, I mean, just that opportunity, like anybody who got drafted to the Buccaneers has got to be pretty excited. Wirfs, for example, I mean, I'm sure he's ecstatic. I mean, comes with a big task, though, guarding for Tom Brady. What about you, Gibby?
Kinlaw for sure. Cheech, like, that is just a guy who's been double teamed his whole life. There's no way that a team can double team him now with Bosa and all them guys around. Like he's gonna get singled, and they're gonna get to the quarterback, especially no slam here, but with that NFC West that doesn't have great offensive lines, like that is just going to be 6 games a year of just pure money. I have the center Ruiz. I think he should be real happy where he's going. I think he probably starts out with the guard, but having Armstead on your left side, left tackle, I'm going to say his name wrong, but Remachek on the right tackle. For the Saints, they already have a really good offensive line. He can learn how Breeze sort of breaks everything down, being the center of the offensive line. He's got to make all the adjustments and everything. And just the last 2 years with Breeze just getting all that knowledge, I think he should be really happy with where he's going.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one. Like you said, with Wirfs protecting Tom Brady, I mean, you got Ruiz now protecting Drew Brees. I mean, that's not someone you want to let down or get hit. So I think he'll take that honorably.
Right on. If you had another one I thought was interesting, you were going to ask who we thought who had the biggest flex on the Zoom camera.
Yeah. So
I thought that was a good question.
So I thought the Zoom thing, I think it went pretty well. I think we got to see the real Roger Goodell, right? So like at first he's all buttoned up. He's got a suit. He's doing everything, trying to be real professional. Yeah. The draft was really long. We were up till about 6:30 in the morning watching it. He does a wardrobe change in the first round. He's like, nah, don't want this. And then about yesterday, into the third round, he just starts sitting up. And then about the middle of the third round, he pops his feet up. And I just thought the whole thing was just kind of cool, just seeing everyone's house. With the wife watching everything, she just thought how terrible all these rich people's houses looked and everything. But I think the biggest flex for me, there was a few of them, right? But I think it's got to be Cliff Kingsbury, man. Like that is not – that's not his office. Like he's not drafted from there. Like, at a war room somewhere in the back, but he's like, yo, let me show this perfect view. Like his chair is nice, couch is way up high, and his desk is real low, and then he's got like little cam. Like he literally, that's just a shot just for that. Good for him to never be really successful in football or college and the NFL and just that massive house.
Oh, I mean, that must have been an easy decision for him to come over here to Arizona and land, just win a few games his first season. And then, I mean, that house had a lot of reactions to it.
Yeah.
Each, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I was actually thinking the exact same thing. I mean, he was not living humbly in that shot of his house whatsoever. It's funny to like you mentioned, win a couple games, whereas like Bill Belichick was just like sitting at his kitchen table, like just nothing crazy, just
giving his dog a treat.
Yeah, and then there's Cliff with his 5 wins, just living in a sick penthouse.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Tyrann Mathieu, he was like, "Oh, that's why I got shipped out of town. That's why I didn't have enough money." Now, mine had to be. I mean, this was the easiest question of all. Henry Ruggs, man. Any man sitting there, iced out in a robe, is destined to go to the Hall of Fame. So watch out, Gibby. AFC West, the Raiders. They got a couple guys now. That dude with the robe, hands down, won that. I mean.
He had that gigantic gold watch on too. Like, dude was just you're right. He was flexing.
He was
going to make $10 million that night, and he was living it up.
I can't wait to see what his house looks like.
And then I think the losers of the whole Zoom thing is all the girlfriends that were on there. So of course, you got CeeDee Lamb, who his girl tries getting the sneak little quick. Oh, let me check this phone real fast while he's getting drafted. He says, nah.
Tough look for CeeDee Lamb's girl.
I don't remember who it was, but there was this offensive lineman that got drafted in the first round that wasn't projected to be there. Like you can tell, like it wasn't set up or anything. So they got the Zoom camera set up, and this girl just comes, sits on his lap, doesn't even look at him, just looks right at the camera and just starts smiling and winking. And his mom just picks her up and grabs her and just pulls her off. Like, this is not your moment. So
I saw that video. Yeah.
It's awesome. Man. It's awesome.
That's gold right there.
But speaking of the Broncos, I guess this is the first thing we can kind of dive into. They really, really want to find out if Drew Lock is their guy. They really loaded him up, right? So, of course, the first round they grabbed Judy, which everyone thought was the number 1 wide receiver in the draft. And then they go and get my guy, KJ Hamler, just a speedster, which they can do lots of different stuff with. They attacked the corner position after that.
Yep.
Then they grabbed that tight end out of Mizzou in the 4th round too. Like they're just trying to load up on weapons. Do you think this is more of a scheme for them, or do you think they're just like, hey, we got to try to keep pace with the Chiefs and let's find out if Drew Lock's our guy that can do that?
Well, I think everyone wants to kind of keep up with the Chiefs and kind of they're watching what they're doing and what they have with Tyreek and Travis Kelce and all them. And so, I mean, I think it was a smart move, though. I'm not a Drew Lock hater like you, Gibby, but I think he can do good. He's got the size, but they did load up on the receiver, and they had to in the cornerback position too with Chris Harris leaving. So I'm excited to see what they do. I think the AFC West gets a little better next year with the Raiders, future Hall of Famer Henry Ruggs, and whoever plays quarterback for them. Doesn't even matter really.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think about the Broncos.
Yeah, no, they're definitely testing Drew Lock. I mean, now if he doesn't produce, then he's going to get shipped out next year. They'll just look at the next quarterback coming up. So they locked down their receivers this year, and they figure out if they have a quarterback or not.
Right. So yeah. So you guys want to stay in the AFC West? Talk about the Chiefs a little bit, or?
Yeah, we'll just do that. We'll go by division. All right.
So I saw
the Chiefs.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So I saw a stat today. Andy Reid has never taken a running back in the first round his whole career. So
Ever.
This is
groundbreaking. I was making fun of all these mock guys, right? Because like all these guys on ESPN, this is all they do. 365 is the draft. They're like, the Chiefs are taking a running back. The Chiefs are taking a running back. And I'm like, you non-educated people. And then they come out and do, and of course my initial reaction, because as you all know, my thoughts on running back, I feel like they're very replaceable, except for the top end guys, But then as I kind of think about it, I realize I've been a Chiefs fan for a long time, and every time with the draft, it's always been the future. But I think this is it's a win now move. You got Tyreek Hill and Hardman, popping the top off the defense. You got Sammy Watkins and Travis Kelce kind of taking the middle guy, and then Clyde is going to be the perfect check down guy, and just to be able to get out there. He doesn't have breakaway speed, but he actually had 15 more catches than your future Hall of Famer Harry Ruggs did in both their last years in college. So I think he's a good receiving back for the Chiefs. But my favorite pick of the draft is Willie Gay Jr. He goes super stoked, man, super fast. So the Chiefs were so bad at pass coverage. If you go back, their linebackers, again, in the playoffs, they pretty much had to blitz every play that they thought was going to be a pass because they literally just stood there and they were so bad at coverage. Willie Gay Jr. is a first-round pick if he doesn't knock out his backup quarterback before their bowl game 2 years ago. And then he didn't feel like doing school anymore, so he got caught cheating this year. So, man, he's a freak athlete. Pretty raw, but I think he comes in and plays right now, and I think makes the team better.
Nice. All right.
You came to terms with the running back. You don't feel like there was a player they could have taken that would have been made a little more sense?
No, okay. So I was sitting there thinking, and I was going through, and I was like, man, like there's so many defensive guys. Like in my mind, I'm like, offensively, like I think we're set. But you go through McKinney, I just don't think fits. We've already got, I think, the safety position pretty much locked down. So. And I don't think McKinney's a nickelback, so I don't think he comes in and plays the slot. He's a true free safety, so I don't think that's a need. Braun, he's more of a 3-4 defense with Spags back there. We switched to that 4-3. I'm just not sure how he fits in. And, yeah, I just think eventually as I woke up and kind of thought about it, and I was like, you know what, that was a pretty good pick, So
did you all get a new D coordinator?
Last year. So the beginning of last year, we added Steve Spagnuolo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he coached for the Rams for a couple of years. Won a lot of games.
Yeah, he's a smart dude. Very smart.
He did not win a lot of games, by the way. He is horrible.
Disregard.
Yep. But, yeah, I know he's made his way around the NFL as defensive coordinator. Cheech, you want to talk about your picks at all over in the New York Football Jets?
So I was hoping for a wide receiver in the first. I ended up going with an O-line, which I'm fine with. After seeing the dude and seeing his dad – Jesus, Becton is gigantic. His dad is a monster.
Legend.
So Yeah, so this guy, I guess, Darnold should be protected from the ghosts and the dementors and anything else that can come his way with how big this guy is. And then we went with Mims in the second. Happy with that. We got our wide receiver.
Yep.
It's not CD or Judy or Ruggs, but this dude was good for Baylor. I was happy with it. I actually, in my mock draft, I had the Packers taking a wide receiver and taking this guy in the first. So I'm happy to see that this dude dropped to the second and we ended up pulling him. So those two picks I'm good with. The safety, I don't really know if we needed a safety in the third. It just tells me that they're going to get rid of Adams. That's all.
The dude out of Cal, right? Ashton Davis or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Ashton Davis. Yeah, it smells to me like they're preparing to just dump Adams this year because Gaze hates stars.
Jamal Adams is not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he stays and signs a big contract this year.
Yeah, I mean, like I'd be happy. Pay the man. We got like $100 million cap space next year, so I'm good with it. I didn't understand. Sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying. I think Becton is. I think he's going to be good, man. I think his the scheme he ran at the zone blocking in Louisville. I think he could do a little bit of anything of everything. I'm sorry. At that tackle position. And he's a big dude, 6'7", 364 pounds. I mean,
he's a monster.
You just don't find those people anymore. So, and then his 40 time, which whatever, it's like a 5'1", I think. So, yeah. I mean, he's going to be good, I think. So I think that's good for them.
Yeah. I'm just perusing the fourth round. And the Jets took a running back and a quarterback in the fourth round, so I'm not exactly sure what they're going for now. But I guess the first three picks I'm good with.
Nice. Yeah, so I actually like the pick the Jets made with Davis, man. So let's say that Adams does stay. Like I feel like just his tackling ability, and everything. I think he could be a really good nickelback, just kind of play the slot. And then if Adams does leave. Then he could slot back. So I think it's kind of like a win-win for each scenario for you guys. I feel like you guys had a pretty good draft.
Yeah. I'm happy with it. The first three rounds I'm good with. So we'll just see if they put it into play this year.
So you have the Jets on the winner's side, huh? Winning the draft so far.
Yeah, not mad at them.
I guess we can pivot towards the Rams here. So initially when we made our first two decisions in the second round, I was heated. I wanted to come on here and record and just vent my frustration so quick. So I'm glad I stepped back for a second because I really do like Cam Akers. I don't know if I would have drafted him that early. Somebody else would have definitely taken him, one of the top running backs available. At FSU, he was just – I don't know if this is biased either because I watch a lot of ACC football, but he was like clearly the best player on the field no matter who he was playing. And the dude had no O-line. He had no quarterback. He had nothing going for him down there at Florida State last year. And he's just the most – I think he's so shifty. I think he's going to be great. But it's just hard for me to wrap my head around how much Jared Goff was under pressure last year, especially in the interior. I know they just signed Whitworth for 3 years, $30 million, which is another insane move to me. And I think they like that Bobby Evans guy. So I think that's he's an Oklahoma rookie last year. I think they are trusting him to kind of fill in wherever he needs to, but they have Havenstein. He was a tackle that was hurt like all of last year. So we'll get him back and that'll be good. So I think that's why they didn't take an O-lineman so early. But the pick that just really when they had two picks in the second round, almost back to back. It was like 6 picks apart. They took that wide receiver out of Florida, Van Jefferson. I think we're stout at the receiver position, even with losing Cooks. So that one was a head scratcher to me. I'm sure they saw something in him that I haven't really studied in. But Jesus Christ, man, I feel like there was just so much on the table at that point. There was some interior guards that we need. We got one of our interior guards got the coronavirus. Come on, it's just tough right now. I mean, I hope it gets better. Brian Allen, sorry about that, but Jesus, we got to do something. Goff is one of the last quarterbacks that are young and not mobile. So I mean, the dude just kind of he's a hermit back there as soon as he gets any pressure. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. They got a couple. I really do like their pick, Terrell Lewis, that outside linebacker. We have to replace Dante Fowler and Clay Matthews, who left. But I do
Clay
like that pick.
Matthews.
He was hurt last year. He's still. I think he was still a solid player. He had some good plays last year. I think he'll go somewhere too and sign for like a vet minimum or something. But
Yeah, I feel like your GM Les Snead kind of took you all on a roller coaster of emotions yesterday. So your quarterback, I don't feel like he has to takes a pay cut to maybe sign and get him some help, and then these players fall that, like me and you were talking, that could instantly impact the team. Just by how we thought and how we viewed them, and Cam Akers, maybe he helps with that running game. I mean, yeah, there's just a lot of things. It seemed like there was so much potential yesterday.
And it's been hard to be a fan of Jared Goff over the past year. Like when we first drafted him, not a fan. I was not happy with the pick, the number 1 pick. But I mean, I get it. It wasn't a super strong quarterback class, I don't think, that year. But we took him. And he had obviously went to the Super Bowl, so you can't really be hating on anybody at that point. But after last year, man, it's just like. But yesterday, Jared Goff redeemed himself a lot yesterday when he decided to restructure his deal, saving us $7 million in cap space. Great self-awareness by this guy. So I'm happy about that. So I can't be too mad with our draft pick taking a wide receiver second.
Yeah, it's big. Actually, I didn't know that. I must have missed that in the group chat. That's awesome that he did that, because he was definitely a bit overpaid for his production last year for my fantasy football team. So, yeah, looking at the 2016 draft class, I mean, it was either him, Carson Wentz, or not really anybody else, Paxton Lynch. So,
speaking of Carson Wentz.
There you go. Perfect.
So what do you think is the Eagles' thoughts? I mean, I know Carson Wentz has kind of been injury prone over the past couple of years. What do you think? What do you think he's feeling? What do you think their ownership is thinking? What do you guys think about that?
I think exactly that. Like, as soon as I heard that Hurts was drafted by the Eagles, I think that they know that Carson Wentz is injury prone, and he will be for the rest of his career. So they need to have a quarterback behind him who can ball. And they didn't have that this year. I think that they needed a quarterback that can play. And if Jalen Hurts just ends up being a stud, then they've got some trade capital there. They can either trade Wentz away and get something, or they can trade Hurts away and get something. I think either way, it's a good move for them. They're protected if they lose a quarterback, and they gain a little bit of capital if he's good.
Yeah. So I have a lot of Eagles friends, and they were furious. They were pissed. I don't really get why, though. Like, the Eagles' last Super Bowl win was because they had a solid backup quarterback. Like, exactly. This guy goes down, you built the team around. I think that this Eagles team is kind of almost on that edge too. Their O-line and their D-line is getting pretty up there in age. And like, if Wentz goes down this year or next year, like, you want to have a guy. And I think their coaching staff, I mean, Philly special, like, they know that. Their coaching staff is smart enough to use him in small packages, to just kind of how Mariota was used at Tennessee this year. Not to the extent that Lamar was used whenever he was a rookie, but just kind of how Mariota would come in and be a change of pace for a few plays. I think it's a smart pick. I understand they want corners and everything and coverage guys, and I think we kind of overvalue the draft too much at times, just because it's what's happening right now.
Oh yeah,
but I feel like that's a pretty good pick for them. And if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm fine with it, especially since last time they won a Super Bowl was with a backup quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, and this is an overreaction recording right now, so let's be real. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, they did beef. I mean, they got their secondary. They got Darius Slay back there now, which was a big get, I thought, because they needed help. But I don't know. I like it. I like the pick. I think, and Jalen Hurts is a winner. He's won games. He knows how to win games. Different. He's been in the spotlight. He's played championships. He's came in fresh off the bench, as a backup, and came in and won. Yeah. he has the experience. So it took me by surprise for sure, and possibly the whole Eagles fan base by surprise. So
Do you think they'd use him as like a Taysom Hill role? Like,
I don't know. I don't think they do unless Carson Wentz is either just shit in the bed or he gets hurt. I just don't know. But it is Doug Peterson though, so they could probably put him in some type of way and whatever their playbook looks like. So, but I just don't know. I think they picked him that high for a reason. I think they want him to learn and they want him to eventually play. That's my point of view.
Yeah. Sticking with the NFC East, you got the Cowboys over there who lost to the Eagles when they were really beat up and had no one. We talked about it last week, but man, they had CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs falls to them, and then they get the Canadian bulldozer out of Oklahoma to kind of shore up that D line. Man, that's one of my favorite drafts is really by the Cowboys, and I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like this kind of maybe makes Dak kind of expendable. I mean, all these weapons and everything, like maybe if he doesn't sign, they could go get someone, but I mean, I really like this draft by the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think they crushed it too. They were on my winners list. So, but I don't know about – it's tough. So do you think they franchise tag Dak this year still, or do you think even like –
So, yeah, the contract's still out, and he just has to sign it. So,
okay.
With his brother and everything.
Yeah, it's tough. R.I.P.
Yeah.
But, I think they could be a really solid team this year. They lost a huge piece in Byron Jones over there, one of the best corners in the league. But we'll see what this Trayvon Diggs can do. It'd be cool. I don't think the Vikings play the Cowboys this year, but wouldn't that be cool? Just seeing Stephon Diggs and Trayvon Diggs going against each other. That'd be kind of
yeah.
Stephon's on the Bills now.
Oh shit! Yeah, duh. So so they
AFC East is it? The AFC East played the NFC or
NFC what or East?
Yeah, they played them last year. So
they did. Okay.
Yeah.
So not this year. Yeah. Sorry, my bad about that. Yeah, I did like their I like their draft a lot. And they got two cornerbacks, right? They got Diggs and another guy. I forgot what his name was.
Yeah, I don't know anything about him. Reggie Robinson out of Tulsa.
Yeah, so
I couldn't tell you. I can't. It's a 4th-round guy.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you a lot about him.
I mean, I think the people listening to this, if they do, shout out real quick, but they probably have no fucking clue either.
Yeah, come join the squad.
Yeah, that's why it's a nosebleed perspective, baby.
Exactly.
So I want to play a little game with you guys. So I'm going to list off the quarterbacks that got drafted. And you tell me if they start this year, sometime in the future with that team, or they're never a starter in the NFL. There were some guys that were drafted today. So we'll start with an easy one, fellas. Joe Burrow, Bengals.
Not a chance. Get him out of time.
Start today, start in the future, never starts.
I think he definitely starts right away. I mean, you don't take somebody number 1 overall, especially with probably the trade offers they could have gotten for him. So he definitely starts.
Yeah, he's starting day 1.
All right, next one. Tua. I'm not going to try to mess up his last name. Don't want to disrespect the fella, so I'm just going to say Tua. Miami got Fitzmagic. We're from the nosebleeds. We appreciate Fitz and his travels to the NFL. Does he start today, next year, or never?
Cheech?
I think Fitz starts. Fitz is the starting quarterback first game of the season. I think that Tua is ready to play in the NFL, but I think that Miami is going to value the mentorship that Fitz can give to Tua with his vast experience. Just for the simple fact that Miami's not – they're not looking to win right now, like necessarily. Like obviously they want to have a better season than they had last year, but I don't think that Miami is – they know they're not in contention for a Super Bowl, so they'd rather let this kid develop and then be a starter when he's ready to be a starter, like kind of Patrick Mahomes, this kid. That's what I think that the Dolphins do.
Yeah, I think they definitely, like you just said, Patrick Mahomes him. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick plays all year unless they just have a season like last year where they're losing. I mean, still, they came on at the end of the season. Everybody started to buy into old B-Flow over there. but I think Fitzpatrick plays the whole year. I do. I think they can win some games next year, especially in that AFC East. So, like, listen, they got a lot of trades, or they got a lot of picks this year. I really liked. I liked Tua pick. I had Justin Herbert going, but why not go after him? I guess it's easy hindsight, but I think with Byron Jones, Kyle Van Noy, they got that running back now, DeAndre Swift, who seems like a beast. I was watching some of his tape yesterday. I think they can win some games, and I think Tua just kind of sits on the bench for most of the year. To be honest with you, I think it'll be good for him too. Give him some time to heal up. But yeah, Gabe, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you guys. Like, there's no need to rush him. If you look at their draft and who they took, the Dolphins took a lot of risk on their guys. Some developmental guys. They didn't take anyone like start now. I mean, I know just like an hour or so ago, they traded to grab Breida, but I think he's more of like a complimentary back and to the guy they drafted this year. And so, yeah, I think that they're kind of in that one more year and then just kind of go for it. That coaching staff, is from the Bill Belichick tree, and that's kind of what they're doing too. So, copycat league.
Yeah.
So next, of course, we got.
I was just saying, I think that division's kind of wide open. I think the Bills definitely probably got better. They didn't have a lot of picks this year, but I like their pick with that Espinoza from Iowa, the defensive end. I think that dude's going to be a beast, and that D-line's going to be, and their whole defense is going to be good. So they're probably the favorites, more than likely. Obviously, they made the playoffs last year. We'll see what Josh Allen does. But I think that division can possibly still be open.
All right, so next, of course, to the LA Chargers, we got Air Bear. Starts now, starts in the future, never starts. I'll take this one first.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So for Air Bear, for me, I'm just not high on him. I think Jordan Love is actually better than him. But I'm also on the Jordan Love hype train. Of all the quarterbacks that have been drafted as of this moment, last year he threw, after 5 yards down the field, he threw the highest percentage of balls that were uncatchable at 18%. Just 18% of his balls after 5 yards were uncatchable. Just to put that in perspective, Tua's rating on that was 4%, and Joe Burrow's was 5%. So almost, 1 out of every 5 times this guy throws an uncatchable ball. I think he's put in the best situation, though. I mean, if you look, that Chargers team last year could be a playoff team. They lost a lot of games by 1 touchdown. I think you have to start him right off the rip just to find out what he can do and then go from there. So I think he starts now. I think he gets benched halfway through the season.
You think he starts right away over Tyrod?
Yeah, I think he starts day one. I think they want to know if this is the guy or not.
Yeah, I mean, Gosh, putting him on the bench after halfway through the season, that's violent.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I think that he's a starter as well, but I think that he'll make it through the season. I don't know. He's got weapons on that offense. He's got Eckler, who can catch the ball on checkdowns, and he's the receivers that the Chargers have, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. He's got one dude that just runs routes like an animal in Keenan Allen, and then Mike Williams, who is just fast and just gets downfield. I think that the Chargers quarterback coaches, they're used to having quarterbacks who throw uncatchable balls with Phillip Rivers. So they'll be able to mold this kid into being a starter. Right now, their depth chart does show Tyrod Taylor as a starter, but I think that Herbert starts and plays this season.
Yeah, Phillip Rivers is just an old white Jordan Love. Just kidding. Anyway, I think Tyrod starts the whole season. Look, they're not stupid. They saw Justin Herbert in college, and from all accounts, this dude he's got the the physical aspect of it. I think he can throw a good ball, but they watched him last year in the Pac-12. I think they know. I think they like the potential that he has, and I think that he can grow. But I don't see any way he starts right away. I think Tyrod Taylor starts, they win 10 games. I'm on that Chargers train this year. Not going to make any bets right now.
No, I was sticking the
know.
arm out.
I saw the wheels too.
He saw the eyes. He saw the eyes.
I knew before I even said that I had to follow with that. But
Ooh.
no, I think they're going to be a good team, and I think Tyrod's a good quarterback. I've said this, many times before, but I think they know what they have in Justin Herbert, and I know that they think that he's not the answer right away. So, but I don't know if I like the pick. I mean, I had Herbert going to the Dolphins, so one may say that I liked him the best. So, but I'm kind of confused with him, honestly. Just playing in the Pac-12, and a lot of people have, just said that this guy's just not it, man. But we'll see. I think he can be good. I think he has the potential. They say he throws a good ball. Head and Shoulders sponsors him, so
yeah,
he'll be there eventually then. But I think Tyrod's the guy this year. So who's the next guy?
So you said you're high on the Chargers. Kind of shift lanes here real quick. Did you like their draft?
I like their first. It's hard. I feel like they had to take a quarterback. I mean, I feel like they were going to. Do I think they needed a quarterback? No. I think Tyrod's good, but I like their Kenneth Murray, the linebacker out of Oklahoma. I like that pick. That's the last kind of like area they needed to fill right now. They have a good defense. Listen, I mean, this team could be so good. It was kind of strange to see what happened to them last year. Who knows if it's, Phillip Rivers. It's, I'm not sure. And they drafted a running back too to kind of help out Austin Eckler back there. But I think they'll be good.
Yeah, didn't they have like some crazy stat like they lost like 7 games by less than a touchdown?
Yeah,
like
I feel like that's been for like 5 years too. Like they've always been such a good team that gives everybody a great game, and they just can't finish it. It's either kicker issues, it's either old Philly Rivers just throwing up a prayer. I mean, they're always so close. So I think they can. And Tyrod Taylor, he doesn't turn the ball over a lot. So I think that could help. I mean, if I don't have the stat on me, but over the past couple of years, I bet the Chargers are top 5 in the league in turnovers. So.
Oh yeah, Rivers just
like,
launching
like it's
the
worst.
What's that?
Like it's the worst in turnovers.
Oh, give it your internet. Didn't hear what you said again, but
yeah,
the worst. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
So we can go to the next quarterback though. Who you got
next on the list? Sorry, fellas. So we got Jordan Love, the controversial pick that blew up the whole nation. Obviously, I mean, I'm sure there's one position that you're not going to pick, but starts now, start later, never starts for the Green Bay Packers.
He's not starting anytime soon, that's for sure. Unless Aaron Rodgers gets absolutely blown up. He is not – I don't think Jordan Love's going to be a starter for the Packers. I think that he'll get traded before he starts for the Packers.
You think Love will get traded or Rodgers?
Yeah, Love will get traded, yeah. I mean, like you guys said earlier, Rodgers has like 4 years left on his deal, on his offer? Contract? Yeah, like he's not going anywhere anytime soon. So, I mean, he's good enough to not have to, like, he's not on that downward slope to retirement. I don't understand why they took a quarterback. But, yeah, I don't think that he plays for the Packers. He doesn't start for them. Ever.
Listen, there's a lot of ways this can go, I think. And honestly, I have no fucking clue. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah. Nosebleeds.
This is like a complete nosebleed perspective here. I have no clue. But if I had to just throw something out there, I think Rodgers still plays. I think he still plays for another. I think he's going to come back a lot better this year. I think he's going to have something to prove. And I think the kid either I don't know. I have no fucking clue, really. So I know that there's got to be a little tension there between him and the organization. I mean, there has to be, right? I mean, he was just on Pat's show an hour before they took him.
Yeah.
And he was like on record saying like, yeah, man, it would be great, to get another weapon. It's been like 15 years or something crazy like that since we drafted somebody like that early or whatever. So he was, no, I don't care what they say. He was blindsided by this. So we'll see where they go in the future. I think it just depends on his health. I think it depends on who knows.
Yeah.
Fucking,
I mean, they said that Brett Favre was the same age as Aaron Rodgers is right now when Aaron Rodgers got drafted. So maybe the Packers are just, this is what they do to quarterbacks.
And what did Brett Favre do after he left? He came back and beat him with 2 different teams.
Exactly. Jets, baby.
So yeah, what do you think, Gibby? Because I don't know. This was just a wild thing to me. So what do you think?
Yeah, it is pretty wild. So kind of like what you guys talked about. So with that 4-year deal, the Packers actually have a 2-year opt out in 2 years.
Yep.
So they can opt out. They're going to have a little bit of dead money, but not near as much as that would make a difference in 2 years. So I think if an organization trades in a draft that's this deep, trades picks to move up, they believe in this guy. I don't know if LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers really get along. So I think in 2 years, Rodgers is probably out and loves the guy. Unfortunately, I think, just it's kind of like I just don't think you move up for a guy that's not going to be your guy. Like you don't like if he falls to you. So I think that's the main difference between the Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, and the trade, man. Like that, like sends a message. Like you went up to get him. Like Rodgers was projected to be a first top 5 pick, and he fell.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers didn't move up to get him. Like they were like, we have to take this guy.
Right.
So I think that's the big difference in that. So I think the organization sent a message. I think LaFleur, for whatever reason, they're going with him over Aaron, and I think there might be in a rebuild.
It's tough.
Yeah,
It's tough to come to terms to say you're in a rebuild a year after you're in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah. I mean, there was tension between Rodgers and LaFleur. I mean, like, because it's Rodgers' team. At least that's how he feels. So to have a new coach come in and mix things up and try and I don't know what how I imagine that Rodgers and McCarthy had a very good relationship when he was there. So for Rodgers to get a new coach in and try and take the team away from him, essentially, this could be a power struggle. You're right. I like that.
Yeah, who knows? But let's pivot over to the NFC West real quick. I think the Arizona Cardinals had probably one of the best drafts just on the top side. I mean, they got Isaiah Simmons, which I thought it's good. I had him going top 5 in my draft. So I think he's a good player. I think he's going to be a good player. He can start on the outside linebacker. He can play safety. I didn't know he played 19 snaps at cornerback last year. That was, I mean, cool. You got a dude lining up on the deep side. Yeah. Like it's ridiculous. So I think that was a good pick, but it was kind of questionable because they definitely need an offensive lineman. And then they get the dude Jones out of Houston, which I think they got a steal, man. They got a hell of a pick there. Yeah. So and then they went ahead and grabbed 2 defensive tackles too to help line up with Chandler Jones. I think they definitely got better this year with the draft. I mean, it's all speculation, of course, a bit of an overreaction, but I think they had maybe one of the best drafts in my opinion. So watch out for the Cardinals next year. That 10-win bet.
That 10-win team, brother.
Brother.
So in the NFC West, I think the Seahawks had. I mean, if Green Bay doesn't have their draft, I think we're talking about what in the heck are the Seahawks doing? Yeah. So their issue was coverage. Like that was their issue. Like they could not cover anyone. They got torched. They traded away the worst corner in the league to Detroit. Well, not traded away. They lost him free agency, and Detroit picked him up. So that's their main concern, right? Like they can't cover anyone, and then they get the one linebacker in this whole draft in the Big 12 that can't cover. Like every linebacker in the Big 12 can cover. Like that's what they do.
You have to be able to cover. It's the only thing they can't attack the run. So,
and then so you're like, oh, sweet. So my your initial thought is, okay, Seahawks got a coverage guy. No, he's awful. He's terrible at coverage. And then they get a project defensive end. Like he doesn't start anytime soon. Like the Seahawks just, this whole draft just blows me away. I know that they are paying Wilson a lot and they don't have a lot of assets and everything, but what in the heck?
Yeah, no, I had them on my losers list too. I'm glad you brought them up because I just felt that their picks were so all over the place. Like I don't know what they're doing over there, but you can't always you can't. I'm not going to judge him because Pete Carroll has had a lot of success with those mid-round picks, like landing some good ass players. So we'll see what they do. I think the winner of the NFC West, as good as a draft that Arizona had, I think the damn 49ers, man, they've won the past few days. I'll just say that. I mean, Jesus Christ, they got Kinlaw over there to fill in where Buckner left. I mean, they got the receiver from ASU. Who knows what he can do, but they need another receiver out there to complement Debo, and especially since Emmanuel Sanders left. And then that, of course, they just had the trade that just happened a couple hours ago. Trent Williams going over there, the one place where I didn't want him to go. I didn't even know it was on his radar, but what was it? So they traded.
It was like a third and like a seventh or something like that.
It was a third round pick and then it was a fifth round pick this year and a third round next year.
That's a steal, man.
Yeah,
crazy.
So I mean, he's one of the best tackles in the game, if not the best. I mean,
especially for a win now team. Like if he goes to the Dolphins, like who cares? Like he doesn't really help them. But a team that's trying to win right now, like that is awesome. My only concern, and I think this might just be nitpicky for the 49ers, is so they obviously have the D-line. So that's like their number one thing. Like I think with this coaching staff, this GM, everything like that's going to be their number one priority is always going to be the D-line. But if that D-line doesn't get there and they max protect, they couldn't cover it. Like that's why they lost in the Super Bowl. Like Sherman's getting old. They blew that late lead. So I was surprised that maybe they don't, grab someone to cover, but I think they filled the needs that, they felt were most important, and they're going to be really good. So
it's going to be tough. That NFC West, man. I mean, the Rams look like all of a sudden they're going to be a last place team again. So who knows though? I'm hoping not. I think we filled some holes that we needed to, but Jesus Christ. So all right. Well, you guys have any other topics you want to talk about over the first few rounds?
Okay, so the Bears are an interesting team to me. I just got some Bears friends, so I kind of like stay up with them, right? So they go with tight end number one. Like they have 10 tight ends on their depth chart. Like they just paid.
That's a real number, by the way.
That's the real number.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it is right now.
Goodness. That's so
like it just so it just doesn't make sense to me, like that move. But if I swap their picks and then they get Jalen Johnson before they get this tight end, I'm not as down on their draft as I was because they still have Khalil Mack. That is their guy. But the Bears, I think, with this Khalil Mack trade, they have to be win right now, and I just don't feel like this draft represented that.
You got big Richard Foles up there, and we'll see what he can do. I mean, if he starts, I mean, I don't know. I think Mitchell Trubisky kind of has reached his ceiling, to be honest with you. So I just don't know, man. I've not been impressed, even when they had that playoff run. So everybody likes to lean on that stat. He was like, "Oh, he had the third highest QBR in the league and went to the Pro Bowl." Like, who the fuck cares? Like, he sucks. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bears, they only had a couple draft picks, right? They went like 2 or 3 or something.
Yeah, they went 2 in the second and then a bunch from like 5th on.
Speaking of tight ends, by the way, the Rams took another tight end. We have 2 good-ass tight ends. I don't understand. We just paid
fuck Higbee.
Well, it's a good guy, Western Kentucky. So I didn't like that pick. But anyway, back to the original pick.
Yeah. No, and like the Bears, they don't have good receivers, in my opinion. Their receivers are not good.
You don't like Allen Robinson?
I don't think that he's that great. Well, maybe he could be good with a better quarterback, but I don't know. I think they needed a wide receiver. They did not need a tight end, but
I don't know what's going to go on up there. So.
Yeah, the Bears are they're just a losing team. That's what they do.
We'll see what happens.
They should have drafted a kicker first round. Or second round. That's what they should have done.
So my initial thought was I thought the Colts, with the whole Jonathan Taylor thing, I thought that was kind of a bad move. But then I thought about it with that offensive line, and they're probably not paying any other running back, and Jonathan Taylor is probably their guy this year and for the future. and they had Pittman Jr. Like they're a win now team as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you don't bring over an old guy like that. So I feel like they had a pretty good draft. A team that I think probably had the worst draft and barely drafted was the Texans. So you lose Hopkins. You add an expensive running back that's probably not going to play that much, and if he does, I don't think he's going to be very successful.
And an
And then you get
expensive receiver.
And an expensive receiver who's
Injury
I
prone.
think we can all agree is not in the same stratosphere as DeAndre Hopkins.
I know it is.
And then you added a D lineman who is a project guy. Like I don't think he plays for a couple of years either. So I feel like the Texans are obviously we're not going to know. We're all speculating from the nosebleeds of the stadium, but I just don't feel like they've won this week either.
Well, I have a little bit of breaking news since we're kind of watching this as the draft is going. We'll kind of end on this, but the Texans, since you were speaking of them, have taken Jake Fromm. So, and old stooge Bill O'Brien has said he was too good to pass up on. So, what do you guys think about that?
Wow.
Yep.
That's shocking. I mean, because obviously they're not looking at a potential replacement for Deshaun Watson.
Are they though?
So,
Are they?
I mean, why would they?
Because I feel like there's a little bit of tension there. Maybe, possibly, his contract's going to be coming due over the next couple of years. I mean, I
don't know.
And Jake Fromm played in the Little League World Series. Let's not forget this. Dude's an athlete.
The Bills traded with him?
Let me see. Did I read that wrong on ESPN?
Oh, yeah, it's showing the Bills drafted Jake Fromm.
Oh, God damn
Unless
it.
there was a trade.
There was a trade. Sorry.
Two different sections. Gotcha.
Still.
Yeah.
They have their quarterback and Josh Allen, so that's interesting. But
yeah. So for that, I think it's kind of like maybe even the same topic as, we saw Allen kind of literally lateral their playoff hopes away, and maybe they're like, hey, we want a guy with a little less zig and a more of like, this is how we're going to get there.
Yeah, I like that.
So
Gibby was on record saying Tannehill was better or worse than Josh Allen. Then that play happened, so I don't know how you could come back from that.
Yeah, I still believe in my initial thoughts on that. I think if I'm a GM, I'd rather have.
That wasn't the statement, though. You said last year Josh Allen was better than Ryan Tannehill.
The Jets just took a punter.
Let's go.
Next Pat McAfee.
Yeah. Got a Texas A&M punter.
All right, boys. We can kind of end on that for now, but we'll come back with some more thoughts later on in the draft. And y'all have a good one.
Cool.
You too, fellas.
Cheers. Later.
Cheers.